I mean, that's just what we do. We do it best. We've been doing it for quite some time, and we're going to continue to identifying underappreciated, undervalued, underexposed opportunities. Hey, here we go. Hey, Prad, how you doing?
Hey, how are you, Rich?
Good. We're already live.
Okay, we're ready to go.
We're ready to go. We got 43 people watching. We've been live for a little bit. I wanted to kind of build the audience so that when you got here, we were ready to go. Um, Huge news for Skylight Health Group.
Yeah, we think this is massive. I mean, yeah, look, this is such an underserved market, and all through elections, and you hear the same thing, which is, healthcare should be a human basic right, and we've always agreed from day one. And when we came up with the idea for the subscription model for the uninsured, the idea was based on, it's not, in the call it 130,000 patients we treat. How can you say no to some patients because they just can't afford to come in and see the physician? And some of these patients, more than anything else, just need healthcare coordination. They need someone to talk to. They need a peace of mind. And, providing that to a patient gives us, great satisfaction. Doing it in a way that is affordable and accessible for them, well, that makes it sustainable. So, I mean, I know this is a whole ramble around it, but the reality is this is such a passionate area for us in what we're building. Economically, it's great as well, because look, this could be on its own, $1 billion revenue opportunity just by itself. This is one of those unique circumstances, Rich, where you can actually do well by doing good. And anyways, we're really happy to play in that space. But this partnership, this ServiceNow and offering a discounted drug card, it just goes beyond that. It's not just enough that they can see a provider. They should be able to get the medication they need too. And if they can't afford it, it's almost like it's the same circumstance to begin with. So, this product will help our patients get access to some pretty significant discounts now at, pharmacies across the US. And so getting your prescription is now affordable and accessible. Filling that prescription is now also affordable and accessible. And that's key for us.
Now it's mentioning a discounted drug card program. Can you break down the specifics of the discount and how it works?
Yeah. So, for most discount drug card programs, there's pre-negotiated prices in terms of brand name drugs and generic drugs. And so based on the type of drug, whether it's a brand name, off-label, or generic program drug, the prices will vary and the discounts will vary. And you can, on the generic side, save almost in some circumstances up to 80% off of the cost of the generic drug itself. And so, the way it works is patients will receive a QR code. Anyone that joins us will receive an access to this QR code, and that's like their digital card. And then as soon as they go into any pharmacy that's participating, we have access to this. And so when we write a prescription for a patient, we can decide, okay, which pharmacy based on which pricing of product. Patient just goes in, scans their QR code, and boom, that's it. They get their discount. And so it's instant, it's immediate, and it's such a quick value add driver for patients that this is going to be something that I feel is just adding on more value. And maybe I should have started ahead of time, but for anyone listening, the whole program is based on a fixed cost model for uninsured patients, right? So patients pay $200 a year, and they receive unlimited access to a Skylight Health doctor virtually by telemedicine. There's no copays. They don't have to pay any additional fees. They just make the call, book the appointment, and be seen virtually. And it's a flat fee cost. It's supposed to help curb their cost of accessing a physician. So, they meet the provider, they get a prescription. Now they can go into the pharmacy and get it filled. And everything is now far less costly than what they would have traditionally have been used to.
The subscription model costs $199 a year or $24.99 a month. Like you said, this is potentially $1 billion revenue stream, because when you think about 300 million Americans and how many of those are not insured, do you know those numbers?
It's over 40 million. It's over 40 million Americans who don't have access to adequate insurance. And that's not even counting what happens with the ACA. I mean, if that doesn't continue, expect another 20 million to join that pool. This is a massive population, and nobody's focusing on it.
You know, it's scary because one of our members actually in our group said that they went to the United States, they had insurance. One of their members from their family got ill, had to go to the hospital.
Right.
Luckily, they had the $75 travel insurance. The bill was $10,000. Like,
you know, the average patient in the US spends somewhere between 6,000 to 15,000 on health insurance. Okay.
whoa.
That's just a natural fact. Now, most of the time it's covered by employers. Your employer led, your employer pays for your health insurance, or at least they pay 50% of it, right? But let's assume that you're the average income earner, let's call it $50,000 a year, and you have to pay that $3,000 a year copay. It just doesn't stop there. You still have to pay your minimum deductibles, which means, let's say for the first 2,000, you have to pay, then after that, they cover 80%. So it's the 3,000 plus the 2,000, plus every time you're going in, you're paying 20%. It's not affordable for most. And that's exactly why you have this problem. And it's a huge issue. And so I think when you consider what it is we're offering, it's $200 for the whole year, and you get access to a doctor whenever you need it. And we're going to keep bringing in products like this discounted drug program and things that can save patients money. Because when you target a market who doesn't have a solution like this, and their other option is to not have health insurance at all, or even go see a physician, we're seeing strong demand and support for a program like this. And I think this is going to be a great area for growth for us. And it's in parallel with our growing insurable services market. And so it's a beautiful complementary add-on. It's a really profitable revenue stream that continues to build in, alongside what already is a multi-billion-dollar opportunity for us at the company. So again, we're really excited by this whole program in general. And I think that 2021 is going to really be a big year, how we start to see traction and adoption of this program.
Now, you said that this is a $1 billion potential revenue model, and my mind is thinking, like, how does he get $1 billion? So 5 million customers,
right,
at $20 a month,
correct,
is over $1 billion.
Correct.
Right? So when you do the math, it's possible. 5 million customers out of a market with 300 million people, and like you said, 40 million with no insurance. If you can get,
that's 10%,
less than 10%.
Yeah.
It's maybe 12% of the market. If you could get 12% of that 40 million people, and like you said, it could grow to 60 million, you really don't even have to get 10% of the market at 60 million, 8% of the market, which realistically, what is their alternative?
Correct. No, absolutely. That's the critical part, is that there is no other alternative.
So when they go looking for health insurance, Skylight Health Group becomes the only option. At that point in time, I see huge upside for Skylight Health Group. Now, how are you going to market to those customers? How are they going to know about this option? What's your strategy for that?
So we're playing around with a few different sort of, let's call it, recipes at the moment. And that's all the way from traditional digital media advertising to community-based marketing. But a really big aspect for us is B2B, and the ability for us to work with small to medium-sized employers, right? The majority of employees today in the US work for small to medium-sized companies. And, as I said, if you work for, the Fortune 500, great, you've got coverage, wonderful, right? Here's another interesting stat, Rich. I think it's like 60% of the American workforce are blue collar workers. 80% of the uninsured are blue collar workers. So like wow. that is a massive statistic. Huge. And when you look at, the types of employers that we're focusing on, it's union groups, it's those types of small to medium-sized businesses that want to provide this to their employees, but they can't afford to. They can't afford to cover 100% of the cost. And even if they did 50%, their employees probably won't be able to afford the other 50%, so they'll choose not to. So there's a massive market to go after the B2B sector, where you're not just focusing on a individual patient recruitment or enrollment, but rather going after mass recruitment and enrollment by, leveraging some of these larger networks. And so this is certainly an aspect of growth where we think is going to bring in more robust memberships. But over the course of next year, this is where we'll really start to, let's call it, perfect that recipe and be able to then identify how that scales up with time.
So in your press release, you announced that it will commence in Q1 2021. So we're like right around the corner from this starting.
Yeah, so we've actually launched the pilot of the 199 program. So we've been doing this
Great.
now for a few months, and we've already had, a few thousand subscribers already to the program. We've already had users in the program. So we're at a point where Q1 2021, we start launching the discounted drug program, which is an additional value add. So this is, call it a new program for existing members, but will become part of that value driver that helps us create more value for the program for new members.
There's also some huge news you guys put out on the 15th that you guys are uplisting to the Toronto Stock Exchange Venture Exchange.
That's right. Yeah. So I've probably mentioned this in past conversations. We've been in sort of early conditional or early application process with the venture, going back and forth. So, we were hoping, fingers crossed, we would get this by the end of this year. And so we're there. We got the conditional approval. It's relatively minor. So, expect everything will clear in short order. And we're expecting by January to commence trading on the venture, which again, for us is big because, we're exposing ourselves to a much broader investor audience and institutional capital and the ability for more US friendly trading on a Canadian market as well, which given the fact that the business is a US business, this is all just going to create further liquidity, further opportunities for stronger investor basis. And as we continue to build a story and execute, again, continue to see that growth reflected in shareholder value.
Now, you guys have moved from the CSE now to the Toronto Stock Venture Exchange. Are you guys looking potentially in 2021 to continue that and maybe move up to the Toronto Stock Exchange and maybe to a larger listing in the US, like maybe the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange? Is that something that you guys are thinking about in 2021 or beyond?
Yeah, it's in the cards. We're in early discussions. A lot of that requires some milestones to be hit as well. And look, we've always been of the mind that timing is key, and you want to make sure that you hit that at the right time. And so we're more excited if you look at how our business models progressed in the last 4 months. We're up 80% in revenue from where we were 4 months ago on an annualized basis. We're very confident that that's going to top 100% into 2021. And that's massive growth for us. And that's going to be sustainable and continue to grow. Our acquisition-based model and organic model is driving really, really strong growth opportunities for us, combined with now this parallel opportunity for the uninsured market. That just creates further growth on top of what we're already thinking we're going to forecast into next year. So I think timing is critical. Timing is key. We're obviously gaining a lot of attention in terms of new investors, especially in the US market, and institutional capital here in the Canadian market. And so, continuing to strengthen our listing position is going to be part of the strategy.
Your name and your company is starting to get more popular. I was at my son's soccer practice and I was talking to one of the dads, and he's always looking at my picks and he's like, what's the next hot pick? And I'm like, oh, you got to look at SHG. He goes, my son told me about SHG yesterday. And so people are starting to talk about it. It's becoming like a talked about stock. It's becoming more liquidity happening in the stock. More eyeballs are getting on the stock. More people are like, yo, look at this stock. This could explode. Are you feeling that? Are you getting more calls? Are you getting more interest from investors? Are you starting to feel like you guys are becoming more of a mainstream name? Are you feeling that?
Yeah, look, Rich, we have been a team of execution. It's been a bit of a struggle for the last few years because we've had our heads down. We focused on getting profitable. We wanted to make sure we've told shareholders we are going to get profitable, and that's what we did this year. And it's refreshing to see more eyes on the story because all it means is now we have more people to demonstrate execution to. And in September, we said, okay, guys, we got profitable. Now we're going to focus on growth. And we've done that. We're doing that. And we've added tremendous growth in the last 3 months, and we're not stopping. And so I appreciate the fact that obviously now broader liquidity brings new eyeballs, brings new investors, and being able to have a bigger stage or bigger audience to now demonstrate success to, that just makes us feel even more excited and, wanting to keep driving that growth even further. So yeah, we are, we're seeing it, we're feeling it. We've obviously seen it on the shareholder value side. The stock's performed tremendously well this year. But we don't think we're anywhere near, the finish line yet. We're very early in our story, and there's still a lot more to come.
We have a lot of shareholders that are holding SHG. A lot of them really believe in the story. A lot of our guys are not flipping the stock. They're holding the stock deep into 2021 and maybe even longer. And they really, really love this story. Do you have anything you can say to those shareholders? Can you speak to those shareholders today that are watching, thinking about, okay, you know, what should we do in 2021 with our shares? What would be your message to those shareholders today?
I mean, look, I think any shareholder should have the right to buy and sell as they please to do so, and they are, and they should. What I will say, Rich, is look, management still remains, the largest shareholders in this company today, and we have everything we have in this company, and we have not sold a single share, and we continue to accumulate where we can, and we'll put our value, where our mouth is, and we'll make sure that our value is returned in the story we're telling. And so, if shareholders believe in management and like the execution and believe that we can execute the story that we can, then this is going to be a short-term win, a medium-term win, and a long-term win. And those that believed us over the summer have done well. And I tell people again, we're not done. And so if you wait longer, I expect you'll get better. And if you wait longer, I expect it will get better. And so as long as we're in this as much as we are, we will be. I would tell shareholders, look, if you trust in management, we're in it for the long term, and we see huge value being gained for ourselves and for all shareholders involved.
Wow, super impressed. This has been an amazing win for our community. Congratulations to all shareholders so far. And this is a story, like Prad is saying, that is just getting started. Guys, remember, Rich TV Live is strictly for education and entertainment purposes. Always do your due diligence and do your research before you invest in anything we talk about. Go and speak to your financial advisor about Skylight Health Group. Chances are they're going to say, hey, that company looks good. And they're probably going to want to buy it themselves. It's true. I hear this every day. This is a really good company. I believe in 100%. I think the upside is tremendous. Guys, if you like this video, a lot of you have already smashed the like button. Continue to do that. Share it everywhere and subscribe for more updates. Prad, anytime you guys have any breaking news, anytime you have anything you'd like to talk about, we'd love to invite you back on our show. I'm not sure if we'll have you back on our show until next year because we're getting very close to Christmas. If I don't, please have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Wish you and your family the best.
And the same to you and to all the community members as well.
Thank you so much. Keep up all your hard work, and we'll be watching you all throughout the next few weeks and going into 2021 and beyond. Once again, the CEO of Skylight Health Group, SHG in Canada, SHGFF in America, Prad Sekar. Thank you for all your hard work and effort, Prad. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Thanks again, Rich. Take care.
Thank you very much. Thank you for watching, guys. If you're not winning, you're not watching. We bring you the winners, and we bring them to you first. Another big winner, Skylight Health Group for our community, and I believe it's just getting started.